Across the country, tackling the topics everyone is talking about online. Share, engage, and interact. This is Newsfeed Now.
Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday. Guess what? That means it's almost Friday. That means it's almost to the weekend, and we're going to have a good time. This is Newsfeed Now. I'm Hillary Hunt. For the next 15 minutes, we're going to talk about all those stories that are trending right now, including some remarkable stories about individuals protecting their loved ones and a pop icon giving a gift to a teen from his home state. I love this. We're going to have more on those in just a bit, but first we want to talk about the ongoing pandemic. We start with COVID-19. There are more than 14 million cases of COVID-19 in the United States. That number continues to climb. The U.S. also hit a new single-day record for the number of cases and deaths. More than 204,000 cases were reported just on Wednesday. And sadly, 2,707 people died. New numbers also show that more people now than ever are being hospitalized. And with the December holidays just a few weeks away, the CDC is recommending people change their travel plans. And let's talk about the little ones. The number of new COVID-19 cases in children has also reached a record high. Nearly 154,000 new pediatric cases were reported. That's just last week. That's the highest weekly increase since this pandemic began. There were also 29% of an increase in pediatric cases over the last 2 weeks. We're told more than 1.3 million children have tested positive for the virus. More than 21,000 of those were reported where our show is right now in the state of Arkansas. And let's talk about, how do you talk to your kids about this during the holidays? Pediatric psychologists are really encouraging you to build some resilience in your kids as you prepare for the holidays. They're obviously going to look a lot different, and you want to let your kids know why in the best way possible. Families should have an honest conversation about how traditions may change this year. But have a talk with your kids, instead what they're grateful for. Go around, tell them, make sure they're focusing on what they have instead of what they may not this holiday season. It's a good way to keep that holiday cheer going, and just talk about safety to keep your kids healthy. You can give your kids a baking lesson, maybe have a family game night, start some new traditions. This is the time. And Dr. Anthony Fauci is giving a timeline of when things, if they ever do, go back to normal, but people are promising they will, so that's a good thing. Pfizer and Moderna are both on track to distribute millions of doses of their COVID-19 vaccine by the end of this month. There's some progress there, but those will go to frontline healthcare workers first, and those in those long-term care facilities that need it. And if all goes as planned, Dr. Fauci says a majority of Americans could be getting that vaccine by mid-April, which means that could make a huge turnaround for things to try to get back to normal. The CDC says new guidance for those who may have been exposed to the virus but tested negative actually helps you drop your quarantine from 14 to 7 days. It seems like it's an ever-changing timeline there. And healthcare workers are swapping the front lines for picket lines, taking a stand at medical facilities across the country. Here are some of the common themes. Contracts are up, staffing obviously extremely short, and personal protective equipment, a hot topic. A lot of them feel like they don't have what they need to protect themselves while caring for these patients. Tom Nagovin has more.
They're walking out in New Rochelle and Albany. For the next couple of days, these healthcare workers have been to war with COVID-19, and as the infection rate goes back up, say the reinforcements they've been asking for haven't arrived.
We've been asking because we knew a surge was going to come back for more help, and it hasn't happened.
To scathing response from their employer, Montefiore Healthcare, which says it started moving patients for safety reasons a day ahead of the planned strike. The New York State Nurses Association, the company says, is willfully misleading the public by suggesting that Montefiore New Rochelle is unprepared for the latest COVID-19 surge, saying the union is selfishly putting the community at risk and using COVID-19 as a political football.
What do we want?
But the same scenes are unfolding at medical facilities across the country over the same issues.
These folks go into an environment every day where they're at risk.
In Chicago, 700 nursing home workers have been on picket lines for over a week, demanding a new contract. They haven't had one since June.
Our Infinity nursing home workers are fighting for a fair contract that sets a $15 starting wage.
We can't take it anymore. You know, we really need a voice as nurses for our patients. We're striking for our patients.
In Chicago, the nurses union gave voice to one of those patients, setting up a virtual reunion with a striking worker.
If I could physically take my check out of the owner's hands and put it in the arms of the CNAs and the nurses, I so would.
There. Now we want to go from those healthcare heroes to the people who are playing a little basketball. The NBA season getting closer and closer to tip off, just a few weeks away. But players are undergoing league-wide testing. They have to for COVID-19. More than 500 players were tested for COVID-19 during the first phase of that testing. 48 came back positive. Any player who tested positive is isolated until they are cleared for leaving isolation under those NBA rules and the CDC guidelines. They're being very cautious with this as they hope to kick off that season. The season is tentatively set to start on December 22nd. And let's move over to Capitol Hill. What's happening right now? Crews preparing for President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. The Biden team will have access to 128,000 square feet of office space. That's enough for 500 people. Wowza. That's including the Secret Service, of course. A transition planning team made up of non-political employees of the U.S. General Services Administration started planning this event way back in March. The GSA is working with the Senate Rules Committee on staging that event, obviously amid a pandemic. They want to make sure it is very safe. How about our current president, President Trump? He's skipping that swearing-in ceremony of his successor and planning his own 2024 presidential campaign kickoff instead. That's what he's telling us. He also doesn't plan to extend that traditional invitation for Biden to visit the White House ahead of the inauguration, and we're told he doesn't plan to call him either. President Trump's considering that January 20th date for his campaign kickoff date. That's because that's when he filed for re-election back in 2017. And in other news, you know, if you have an emotional support peacock, can't come on the plane anymore. The government says when it comes to that on-air traveling, in-air traveling, what am I talking about? Only dogs are allowed to be those service animals. The Transportation Administration tells us the issue was ruled earlier this week, saying other animals used for emotional support don't count as service animals. What about like an emotional support pig? Can't go on the plane. Under the final rule, a service animal has to be a dog trained to help someone with a disability. The move will likely force passengers to check their animals in cargo, or leave them at home. Oh, Steve, behind the camera, he knows that makes me sad. Come on. And okay, in the West, one of our top trending stories there is about a California grandmother and a restaurant owner who used a table as a battering ram to deal with a violent customer. The grandmother said she did what she could to protect her family. Teresa Asasio has more.
This is surveillance video from Doris Campos' restaurant that shows the confrontation and how fast it unfolded. Watch as Doris picks up a table. She says she needed to act fast and protect her family from a threatening customer. Doris says that she had to act because of what had happened right before.
In the beginning, I don't know what's going on because I was cooking and I just come into outside and I see a lady fighting with my daughter. And I just tried to control her, like, hold down, explaining what's going on. And then she don't put attention to me.
That's when Doris says that the woman, as you can plainly see, takes a large bottle of hand sanitizer and throws it at her daughter, who is holding her 2-year-old son, Doris's grandson.
That's why I've been nervous. You see, if it is because it's passed to my grandson like this.
Doris showed me the bottle, still near the register.
So when I see that, I decide to do something. In that moment, I don't thinking, I just act to.
And that she did swiftly, lifting up a table handcrafted by her cousin.
Pick that table and I move her with the table. That's it, and by some reason she fall down.
I mean, I've known her my whole life and I know what she's like. I know that she'll do whatever she can to protect her children. And that's what she did. Not just me, her grandson too.
Doris has owned Panchitas on 16th Street in the Mission District in San Francisco for 32 years. Nothing like this has ever happened, she said, but she adds that the pandemic has certainly been a very complicated situation to deal with as a restaurant owner. I asked why she thought that the customer got so angry, and she said that there had been some kind of mix-up. As for that woman, Doris says that she hopes she is caught and gets some therapy.
Y'all don't mess with grandma. My grandma would probably protect me like that too. Smart woman thinking on her feet there to protect her family. Now let's look in the South to our top trending story there. Imagine being at work and learning your home is on fire. Now imagine being the police officer responding to that call just last month. We showed you the incredible video of an Oklahoma police officer rushing into an inferno in his own home to save his own kids. Now they were sleeping alone. He said he couldn't stop. He needed to save them. And for the first time, we're actually hearing from the Seminole Police Corporal Anthony Louie. He was just released from the hospital. What a hero. Peyton Yeager has more.
Regardless if I wear this badge or not, I'm still a dad.
A father's instinct. The reason Corporal Anthony Louie says he and his 2 kids are still alive.
I love them to the moon and back. I mean, they're my world.
The Seminole police officer's world crashing down when a house fire call came over the radio. The street name familiar, pulling up to his home engulfed.
No, my kids are inside.
Corporal Louie seen running full force into the flames, breaking down the deadbolt, the brand of the lock still imprinted on his arm.
We knocked out the sliding back glass and went out the back door.
Thomas and AJ, safe without even a scratch.
The ceiling actually collapsed. I mean, my son could have been in there.
Corporal Louie handing the boys off to his partner and the pain setting in.
Skin just hanging off, and that's when I collapsed in the street.
Rushed to Integris in Oklahoma City. 2nd-degree burns to his body and smoke inhalation.
Blessed to be alive and just thankful just to be here.
Corporal Louie's house left charred, but his story quickly spreading. Thousands of strangers stepping in, helping his family of 4 nestle under a new roof for the holidays.
It's just being in law enforcement and what's going on right now, yeah, how it spreads, and just the love from everybody.
Meanwhile, the humble hero itching to put his uniform back on.
I'd do it all over again. Like I said, I'd do it all over again. I'd risk my life to make sure they're good.
What a hero, and you know his kids are forever grateful. And what a great dad. A teen popular in his Tennessee neighborhood for sitting outside his house surrounded by signs reading, "Honk if you're happy." I need one of those signs. Received a gift last week from a Tennessee-born entertainer known all around the world. You may know him, Justin Timberlake. Jake Stitt has cerebral palsy and he uses a wheelchair, but his family didn't have a wheelchair accessible van. And of course, you know, that star obviously stepping in to help this family. Ainsley Daniel has more.
In Morristown, Tennessee, Jake Stitt is like a celebrity with people constantly stopping by his home, even if he's not a fan of the UT Vols.
I can't imagine what goes through his mind sitting in a chair every day and having to depend on somebody versus not being able to do for yourselves.
A big need for a van that's wheelchair accessible. So friends launched a fundraiser that collected thousands of dollars over just a few days.
There's not many people that can just lift him up and set him in a van like he needs.
But Jake's journey to get a van took a dramatic turn Tuesday night when the Stitt family heard from one of the most famous performers on the planet who said he had heard about Jake and wanted to do something to help. In a private Zoom call Wednesday afternoon, pop icon Justin Timberlake told Jake he had purchased the $35,000 van.
Justin had caught the story and was very touched with what's going on with his things, and he wanted to reach out and decided that he wanted to purchase the van for Jake for his needs.
Later that day, the town of Morristown escorted the new ride right to Jake's house.
It's going to make our lives so much easier because of the independence that he's going to be able to have as a young man now. He can feel independent.
Jake and his dad overwhelmed with love and support.
It was a blessing in God's way.
Oh my gosh, I love this story. Ansley Daniel joining us now from Johnson City, Tennessee. You know, for people who don't know, Justin Timberlake is from Memphis, Tennessee. He does a lot of great things, but just talk about how much this touched this family. This is a huge deal for them.
So actually the week before, his caregivers started this GoFundMe to get a van for Jake. Now, Jake's dad had been lifting him in and out of a regular, just family type of van, and his dad was going to potentially need back surgery because of all of the lifting. And so they had started this GoFundMe, and another celebrity that's local to the area picked up on it, and then eventually Justin Timberlake picked up on it and just decided to go ahead and purchase it. And his family was just so thankful. This happened the day before Thanksgiving, so it was a really sweet way to kind of start the holiday for them as well. But the overall cost of the van would have been $35,000 to this family, and so they were extremely thankful.
Yeah, and people who don't really know anything about these handicap accessible vans, one, they're not easy to find. You have to custom order them. And like you said, they're expensive. So I know this family is forever grateful. What was their reaction when you were talking to them?
Well, we were not in on the call with Justin Timberlake. That was a private call between Jake, his family, and Justin Timberlake. But the family, they were just so surprised that it had kind of reached that far. But they were also just so thankful. They were crying, and the way that it was delivered was a really sweet way. As the story mentioned, Jake is known for sitting out on his front porch and honking. People come by, sometimes even daily, according to his parents. And so the whole town got together. There were different police officers, fire trucks, EMS. They were all there blowing their horns, bringing in the van to Jake's house.
So much joy. Love it, Ansley. And everyone remember today, honk if you're happy. He needs to send us all those signs because we all need to honk if we're happy. Thanks so much for joining us today out of Johnson City, Tennessee. Great story there. But before we go, I'm happy. We're all happy. We're not honking, but we are talking about your daily dose of holiday cheer. The National Christmas Tree lighting at our nation's capital will be held virtually tonight, so everyone can join in from the comfort of your own couch. Viewers can watch the ceremony featuring President and First Lady and the First Lady at thenationaltree.org. Write that down once again, thenationaltree.org. The event and the holiday performances will be virtually throughout the holiday season, so you can catch all that holiday cheer right on your phone, right on your computer, tablet, whatever you use. This year's National Christmas Tree is 30 feet tall. Ooh, it's a Colorado blue spruce from Pennsylvania. That sounds nice. Visitors can still view the national tree as well as the tree in the President's Park through the month of December. That is a fancy tree. Now let's talk about some fancy people. 4 fancy people at that. They were named 2020 People of the Year. You see, I call him a stone cold fox, George Clooney. My mom loves him. What about Dr. Anthony Fauci, Selena Gomez, and Regina King? They're all doing great things. Clooney donated $500,000 to the Equal Justice Initiative and $1 million to COVID relief efforts. As for Dr. Fauci, he's been very busy. He was chosen because of his steady guidance during this pandemic. And Gomez trying to raise $100 million in just 10 years for something so important, mental health access. And King for the support of marginalized communities during this pandemic. They're all doing great things. They also deserve it. And in our final trending story, Apple released its list of the best apps and games this year. It's compiled by App Store editors who choose the winners based on several factors like quality, creative design, usability, and the use of Apple technology. I need to download this one. The home workout app, Wakeout, won the phone app of the year. I've never even seen it. And Zoom, you won't be surprised here, almost every company uses it now. They took the top spot on the iPad app. And Disney Plus, everyone loves that, won the Apple TV app of the year. No shock there. But that's what's trending for this Thursday. I hope we brought you some entertainment. And remember, honk if you're happy. Just don't do it at someone who's mad. You know, smile when you do it so they don't think you're trying to cut them off. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be here tomorrow for your Finally Friday. Same place, same time. Have a great Thursday.